go.
Welcome to the Head family plot. Must be 24 of us all here alone. Well, my name is Orson Sherman Head, great-grandfather of that rather famous fellow down at the bottom of the hill. And I'm used to speaking to groups of people such as yourselves, although usually they were lined up in a juror's box. You see, I was a top-notch, no-nonsense lawyer in my day in Kenosha, and I had a reputation for getting the truth out of any witness, even if I had to scare them into it. I was born October 9th, 1817 in Paris Hill, New York. My father was a farmer, and my 5 brothers and I grew strong bodies under his harsh discipline on the farm. We learned how to have a good day's work on the field and not mind it at all. I practiced law while I was in New York, and in 1841 I felt the call to go west. And the governor of what was then the Wisconsin Territory, the Northwest Territory, appointed me to be notary public for this area here in what was known as Southport. And I was soon married to a Mary Jane Treadwell. She bore me 7 children and only 1 boy in the lot. Now, sadly, our first daughter, Mary Maria, 1 year after we were married in 1846, Mary Maria was born. She did not live to see the end of the year 1848, which was the year that Wisconsin became a state. Take a look at the flag. It says it on there. Professionally, things went a little better for me than they were going personally at the time. In 1851, the governor was, I think, influential in appointing me to be the Democrat state senator. During that time, I helped with legislation that removed the Oneida Indians from the Fox River Valley to open up the area from Green Bay all the way down to the Mississippi River. While back in my native New York, we had moved the Oneida from the area of the Erie Canal. My view has been that we can't let the Indians, we can't let savages stand in the way of the progress that we needed to make as we were moving west. I continued in local affairs. I was elected as alderman several terms in 1852, and then in 1858 was appointed the district attorney for Kenosha County and served 3 tours in that capacity. And I must tell you that a lawyer and a district attorney does not often make many friends. There was a local attorney, Volney French, who kept a diary. And I made it into the pages of this infamous diary when he said, with quite a bit of pepper, I would add, on Friday attended a suit before Justice Cole, and again came in collision with O.S. Head, a man I always thoroughly despised. The particular reason of his ill temper and want of decency on this occasion was the fact that there came upon the witness stand a Lewis Gordon, an adopted child, whose mother this same Head had brought to want and destitution at Head's hands. He was that child from whose neck, while lying in the cradle, Head had stripped the $50. The last cent the poor creature had in the world. After the death of the mother, it was ascertained that she had nothing to eat for a long time. Well, French's description of me, you would think that Mr. Charles Dickens himself had journeyed to Wisconsin and used me as the character Scrooge when he was writing A Christmas Carol, but I have no time for such. Well, our second daughter, Mary Blanche, was born in 1853, and in memory of our little angel, Mary Maria, we named her Mary and intended her to take the place of her older sister. She was a red-haired girl, not unlike myself, had red hair, a strong personality, but alas, we were doomed to clash, I think, because of this. Speaking of wartime matters, have you heard of our brave veterans from the Civil War? When the Civil War broke out in 1861, all Kenosans came together, regardless of political party, and we were asked to help support both these young men with the equipment they needed and with support for their families as these men went off to war. I myself contributed $150. That would be $4,000 in your economy today. And I was asked to speak the day before to exhort the young men to do their best, to be proud, and I did so as they marched off to join what was known as the Park City Regiment of this area. Well, my beloved wife did not survive the course of the war at the age of just 36. Mary Treadwell passed away on April 8th of 1863. This left me with 7 children, aged 16 to 1. How was I to take care of all of them? How was I to look after them? They needed a mother's love, they needed a mother's support and training. Mary Blanche, I expected her to look after them, but I thought she would be the most receptive when I married Mary Raymond in 1866, but the two would have none of each other. Mary Blanche was just livid, could not get along with her stepmother, and announced one day that she was going to visit some friends, go for a visit. Several weeks later, she finally appeared again with a young man by her side that she had met in St. Joseph, Missouri. And who did he think he was, running around with a daughter of one of the heads? He was 26 years old. She was a mere wisp of a girl of 15. Now, albeit we wanted her to act the age of her young sister of 21. Still, that age difference. And he was nothing more than a no-account freight clerk for the railroad. And what more, Mary Blanche stood up to me, red hair ablaze, and said she was going to marry whom she wanted, where she wanted, when she wanted. And sure enough, I'm not sure how she did it, but she managed to convince her stepmother and I to allow this. And so she and this young man married under our roof in 1868, went back to their little shanty of a home in Missouri, and after he lost his job, certainly no surprise there, back they came with young son Dickie to live under our roof. I was losing strength. I had wearied of the constant battles with Mary Blanche, so there they were under our doorstep. And but I did have one say in my final years, and that was that this upstart son-in-law would see none of my money. I wrote into the will that he would see none of my money, that Mary Blanche could not inherit any of my inheritance until after he was dead. And so it would come to pass. You may hear some more from her on that, but I like to say I got the last laugh on that one. I passed away from pneumonia February 19th, 1875. This did not pass the notice of the local newspaper. I'm not sure they were doing me any favors, but something of a compliment when my obituary was written, and I quote, "There was no more chance for falsehood to survive one of his examinations than for a kernel of wheat to pass unbroken between the upper and nether millstones." So, that's my character. Well, I thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoy meeting the rest of my family, maybe even Mary Blanche. Farewell.
Thank you so much.